turn this into something positive and maybe it'll spread.
He's the most positive person on his job.
Now you're cured.
I feel good.
Good morning and welcome to Positively Milwaukee. She is one of the most inspirational people I have ever met. And that's why I'm telling the story of 45-year-old Bridget Wilder in two parts. Bridget was the mother of 10 biological children when she faced the unthinkable. But her journey of triumph over tragedy will inspire you. We visit Bridget Wilder on a typical day as the mother of 10 interacts with her children.
How do y'all feel about eating healthier foods?
You'll soon find out there's nothing typical about this 45-year-old mom. Let's rewind. For years, Bridget Wilder was a stay-at-home mom while her husband Wilson Anthony Wilder worked to support the family.
He was the one who was the breadwinner, and I stayed at home and raised the children. Just more of a traditional family, but very young for that time frame to be doing that. It was kind of like weird in that space in the 90s to be living like that.
One child, Beatrice, was diagnosed with leukodystrophy. A neurological disease meant Beatrice could not hug her mom. Still, they were close and they communicated.
She couldn't hug me, and it bothered me that I couldn't get the embrace from her like I would my other children. And I believe one time she noticed that. She breathed on me when I was laying next to her, and I could feel a hug through her breath. And that was a form of connection that we had.
But one day, Beatrice never woke up. She was only 6 years old.
She passed away in her sleep. And I was always hoping that she would get better, but that day never came. I miss that. I miss taking care of her. I miss just the moments that we had alone where I can just talk to her and encourage her. We were very close, even though she could never verbally say mom. I miss that. Oftentimes, Ms. Meekins, I still don't deal with her grief because it can be really hard for me to discuss it, but I deal with it by helping other people without me having it. Only time I really talk about it is if it's to encourage someone. But if I'm at my alone times, I kind of keep myself busy and distracted because it's a painful place.
After losing a child, faith helped. Wilder is a longtime member of Unity Gospel House of Prayer.
Looking at it from a spiritual perspective, I look at her walking in a different place than here. And that's what I saw when I looked at her wheelchair. She was no longer bound to that. So I had to take myself out of the selfish space of just wanting her to be here with me and realizing that she didn't have to continue to go through the pain that she was suffering through. So that helped ease my grief, just knowing that she didn't have to suffer anymore.
But Wilder says Beatrice left an imprint on the entire family.
I will tell you that she changed my life. She helped me look at how it is for parents to have children that are disabled. Me and my children both have a sensitivity for people with conditions that may be in a place where they are often overlooked.
3 years later, Bridget suffered another devastating blow. She was only 35 when her husband died of a heart attack at the age of 37.
He was such a key component that it felt like the weight that was carrying us dropped us, for lack of a better word. So I had to learn how to restructure my life and begin again. When you lose a child, it's like nothing else. And to lose my husband after that, I almost felt like I was having an out-of-body experience.
Suddenly, Bridget was a young widow faced with raising 9 children alone.
And dealing with the grief of my husband 3 years later, it was shocking, even though he was sick. Because here I was, a mother of 10, having lost one and having to raise 9 children alone from the ages of 16 to 4 months. I never had an experience of being a single mom, and I never wanted to be. I never signed up for that. But it was placed in my lap, and I was forced to grow. It was as if my life was blown out of a canyon from 0 to 100 so fast that I didn't even have time to process it.
But after these tragedies, Bridget Wilder was able to make astonishing transformations.
No low place is meant for us to stay. It's for a moment for us to grow into who we were predestined to be.
How Bridget found her voice, her purpose, and what she's doing to help others. I'm going to have that next in Positively Milwaukee. Don't go away. Welcome back. We continue to follow Bridget Wilder's remarkable journey from tragedy to triumph, how she turned her life around, making it better for herself and her 9 remaining children. Bridget Wilder was catapulted into a new life after losing a child and her husband 3 years apart. Wilder was a young widow at 35, forced to raise 9 kids ages 4 months to 16 years old, alone.
I didn't know how I was going to navigate taking care of my children, but I went back to a former passion that I had, which is nutrition.
Wilder says her church, Unity Gospel House of Prayer, helped to ease her despair.
Ms. Meekins, the biggest part of my growth is collaborating with God and believing in myself.
Wilder quickly had to transform from a stay-at-home mother to her children's primary breadwinner. She got a job as a receptionist.
Storms build you, and I learned stuff about myself through this process.
Through her resilience, Wilder went back to school, getting a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition from Mount Mary University.
I took on the challenge of saying, you know what, I'm going to try. And little did I know, it introduced me to myself. It introduced me to understanding how intelligent I was.
It took 7 years to finish her courses. She had to extend her time after yet another devastating blow.
I had to show up at class every day. I had to strategize on how am I going to make sure the kids are fed, go to school, go to work, which I did. I worked, went to school, but then another tragedy hit and my mother died. But I never lost sight of how bad do I want it.
But something else was eating at Wilder. She was morbidly obese, weighing over 300 pounds at the time.
For me, at one time when I was over 300 pounds, it was too big for me to visualize I can do that. I asked myself, how bad do you want it?
Bridget wanted it pretty bad. She lost 150 pounds through good nutrition.
You eat how you feel about yourself. When I didn't feel good, I ate garbage. I ate fast food. I didn't treat myself with the value that I deserved. But now, I'm like, I want to be here a few more years. It's time for me to put a lot of nutrients and vegetables and fruit in my body. I used to have diabetes, and I no longer have it. I was diagnosed at a time where I was able to reverse it.
Today, she helps others find wellness and healthy eating. She stresses the mental component. Through her metamorphosis, Wilder discovered she had to confront a trauma she had buried for years.
I was raped at the age of 15. So tragedy was really a part of my story. The only difference with the rape, I suppressed that and I just went on with life.
So in a way, your grief helped you grow up.
Yes, it helped me deal with old stuff that I never knew how to tackle.
Wilder even started her own business, Perseverance Health and Wellness Nutrition Consultation Services. It specializes in weight loss.
I teach my clients how to declutter their cabinets for weight loss success. And oftentimes they think I mean get rid of all the salt, the sweets. No, I'm saying who is in your space that is not supportive? Who is the sabotager? Remove any barrier that's going to keep you from completing a goal.
Wilder is also a motivational speaker who continues a personal quest to do better.
My fight really is in me continuing to seek ways to self-improve. Because if I improve myself, I'm better at helping other people. So that's the reason why I fight so hard to make sure that I'm well in my mind, in my body, and my spirit, because I'm better at helping others when I'm at my best place.
Wilder even wrote a book called Why Me? A Question I Refuse to Ask God. On top of all of this, her 9 children are thriving.
Because I have learned so much from you and all that stuff, and what you have taught like us about healthy eating and all that stuff, they'll talk to me about they losing weight or they're trying to lose weight or something, and I'll say well, you probably shouldn't be doing this.
My confidence now bled into my children. My oldest is an accountant. I have a couple of children that are, my daughter, one is a model, one is a business owner, one goes to Howard University. No one's in trouble.
So a woman who had every excuse to give up persevered.
I wrote a vision board in 2013. On my vision board, I said I was going to start a business. I was going to uplift and inspire women. I was going to be a class speaker, and I was going to write a book. All of that happened. Silence the voices of those who say you cannot, and say you can.
Bridget Wilder has found her voice, her place, and most of all, her purpose in life. She helps others remember that mind, body, and spirit are crucial roles in the journey toward wellness.
When I tell you it's a story of tragedy to triumph, it is that. And I'm happy to talk to you because it's given me the opportunity to tell people that although we go through storms in life, there can be victory after the most traumatic events in our life. Even though a situation may seem hopeless, take it back. Take it back into your own hands and become whoever you desire to be, and don't take no for an answer.
Such resiliency. Thank you, Bridget, for sharing this incredible journey with us and all of you out there. Next on Positively Milwaukee, one Wauwatosa woman's selfless act, why she went under the knife for someone she never met. Welcome back to Positively Milwaukee. How far would you go to help someone you don't know? Would you undergo major surgery? One Wauwatosa woman did, and she changed a life through her gift to a stranger.
And we had Natasha from the Philippines, Pedro from Brazil.
It's clear the minute you enter the Wauwatosa home of Linda and Mark Carlson, they open their hearts to people they've never met.
They're all very unique.
These are pictures of some of the 10 foreign exchange students the Carlsons have hosted over the years.
They had outhouses, they had dirt floors, and for him to come to the United States was a really big transition.
Linda Carlson shares another example of her giant heart, scars from a major operation after she made a decision to donate a kidney to a stranger.
They do a 2-inch incision. He puts his hand in and he pulls out the kidney from that 2-inch incision.
She was motivated after a friend's 25-year-old daughter went into kidney failure, and she saw this front-page newspaper article.
At the end of March, the Journal Sentinel ran a front-page article that said, "You have 2, share your spare."
That inspired the 55-year-old to act.
And I read that, and I was like, you know, I'm healthy. I have 2, I think. I could do this.
So she went under the knife for someone she never met.
I thought if I can help just one person get their life back, that would just be awesome.
Carlson made that decision before telling her husband.
I don't consider myself special. I didn't even hesitate, and I didn't really even ask my family.
You didn't? Now you've got 4 kids.
4 kids.
And your husband. You didn't ask your family?
I kind of just started the process. Ask for forgiveness later, you know.
But did anybody say, hey, Mom, wait?
You know, the only one that was hesitant is my daughter, who's an ICU nurse. And I was like, really? You work in this? And she's like, yeah, I know. And that's why I'm hesitant of having you do this.
She understood the risks.
The risks, yeah.
Her husband of more than 30 years knew his strong-willed wife would do what she wanted.
She's a very independent person. Sometimes when she gets an idea in her head, it's best just get out of the way.
But Mark Carlson was also proud his wife wanted the chance to change or save a life.
I could quickly see, the motivating factor for Linda on why she wanted to do it and why it was important to her and why she felt really great about it. And why would you want to stand in the way of that? It's a great opportunity for somebody.
A friend told Linda about a softball coach who was on dialysis. So Linda got tested and found out she was a match to Ken Frankie. The donor coordinator gave her that news.
She's like, you're a match. Let Ken know. I said, I don't know Ken. How can I let Ken know? I don't know him.
Right before surgery, Linda got a chance to meet the man who would get her kidney.
He came with his ex-wife, his daughter, his son.
And this is Ken.
But there were so many similarities. He has a daughter named Amy. I have a daughter named Amy. He coaches at Kewaskum High School. All of my relatives are from Kewaskum.
Carlson points out there's a bright side to being a living donor.
You have basically the best physical of your life. To tell you how thorough they are, okay, I'm 55. I had to go back for a second pregnancy test.
Carlson is healing well.
I don't wake up in the morning and say, oh my gosh, I only have one kidney. I mean, life is totally 100% back to normal. I felt like I was called to do this. Once I made that decision.
The best part? Now you have a friend for life.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly. Ken, once in a while, he'll be like, you know, your kidney just feels like it wants to come home for a visit. So I'm like, let my kidney come home for a visit. Ken, come on over, we'll have a cup of coffee.
And for Linda, she's the perfect example of courage, compassion, and selflessness.
I just hope I can inspire at least one person. If every person who donates their kidney can inspire one more person, it'll be like a chain reaction.
People like Linda Carlson could make even a skeptic believe Earth angels really do exist, because even though she gave up one kidney, she clearly has her huge heart.
I want to be an advocate. I want to answer questions for people, let them know that there's nothing to be afraid of, and that you can so change someone's life.
She's doing something beyond just her, just living and experiencing, but is given to society as a whole. And I think that's something that's a powerful motivation.
What better feeling is there in the world than to make someone's life better?
What if we had many more Linda Carlsons out there? Such an act of kindness and courage. When a Milwaukee woman fell in love with a popular sport, she wanted to inspire her young niece, but she discovered a huge gap, so she filled it herself and changed the narrative. Nia Aboate is on the move, hoping to change a narrative. She's a triathlete from Milwaukee.
And it was just another step to challenge myself fitness-wise.
She's fallen in love with the sport.
It elevates your mood. Like, who can be, depressed on a sunny day? And what I like about it is because it's not just one sport, so you're using different muscles. And so what I noticed is I was staying toned.
Aboate shared her thrill of triathlons with her niece.
Hi, my name is Naya, and this is my aunt Nia. And in 2013, I was 10 years old, and I was able to experience my aunt finish her first triathlon.
What did you think about it?
I was pretty excited.
I know if she can get into the sport, she would make the podium. She's very athletic, and so I was really inspired by the possibility of getting her into the sport.
So she went looking for children's books that might inspire a young girl of color.
When I went to look to find a triathlon book, I couldn't find one, Carole. I Googled it and I couldn't find one, and I was like, how is that possible? How is that possible?
So Nia decided to write her own book to reach kids of all races.
The book was a way to give people an opportunity to see some of the activity and expose them to it.
The book is called I Am a Triathlete. It was made available with the help of a Kickstarter campaign.
What message would you like to give people out there who are sitting on the couch right now?
Do a walk around the block. Just start with a walk around the block. Just start from, if you're down at the lakefront running from pole to pole, if you're not really a runner. If you're not a swimmer, just start with putting your toe in the water down at the lakefront and going up to your waist. All of those things are free. That doesn't cost you any money. It just takes a little motivation to get you out of the house.
So far, the book has been a success. Nia credits much of that to her great illustrator.
Adriel is really a talent. He helped to bring my story to life.
Nia reminds us that triathletes come in all shapes and sizes. And if you're not a swimmer, please note, neither was Nia.
Look, here, I know how to float on my back. And they told me the distance, and I was like, I can do that. I can float on my back for a half a mile, no problem. They have swim angels that will swim behind you. And in some cases, you know, give you a flotation device, but not all. I had one of the swim angels who swam up, you know, she saw me struggling and she said, "You need some help? You need this flotation?" And I said, "No." I said, "I just need you to swim behind me so that no one swims over me."
Okay, I'm amazed at what Nia has accomplished. These are pictures from her first triathlon. I quickly see how this effervescent personality stays on track even with several interruptions during our interview.
We got another truck coming.
Oh, that's okay.
And they're waving. Usually I go like this to get them the hunk.
Nia has helped coordinate groups like Black Girls Run and Black Girls Do Bike. She shares there are different levels of triathlons where you work your way up.
Often there's this perception that you have to do the Iron Man one, right? The one that has the longest distance. But I started doing Iron Girl, which is a sprint triathlon.
And seeing her spirit and charm, I can't help but be touched by her can-do attitude. Nia Aboate, changing the narrative, writing new chapters to help young people get up and running and discover their power within.
I would say my purpose is to continue to encourage those that don't see themselves in books. Now you see yourself in this book. The potential is there. I would say that would be my purpose.
What a spirit and what a delight to talk to Nia. If you'd like more information on Nia's book, you can go to niatheauthor.com. I'm going to be back with my quote of the week. Welcome back. Time now for my quote of the week, an inspirational message to get your week off on an uplifting note. Today's comes from Oprah Winfrey. Her words, quote, "You know you are on the road to success if you would do your job and not be paid for it." So true. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend. Stay positively Milwaukee.